Jai Guru. Today I am going to start +2 second year class English. The name of the topic is My Greatest Olympic Prize by J. Sons. Before that, I want to mention today India's women team has reached the semi-final in the Tokyo Olympics, defeating Australia. Before it also, men's hockey team had entered into the semi-final. But this was a great day. This is a great day for us because they had beaten women's hockey team has beaten the Australian hockey team. Here also I want to mention one very good thing in the Olympics, this Tokyo Olympics, which may be the next story instead of my greatest Olympic prize by J. Sonors. This what I am going to discuss will be placed in the next year probably. Just I am telling the simple story of this current Olympics. I have made some notes. In the final of long jump in Tokyo Olympics final, Italy's Gianmarco Tamberi was fighting against Qatar's Mutaz Issa Barsim. They both jumped 2.37 meters. There is a tie, just like in cricket match, one day, T20. If there is a tie, then there is super over. Similarly, here the Olympic officials gave them 3 attempts, both, but they could not reach more than 2.37 meters. So it was decided to give them a last attempt, both. But by that time, Tamberi withdrew due to a serious leg injury. So this time Barsim was the only one player he could have won the gold. But he asked the Olympic official if he withdrew, can be gold medal be shared between two. The official checked and said that yes, it can be shared. I have made some notes because this is a famous story. It will come in the next year's course instead of this topic. Then he also withdrew immediately. Then by hearing this, Italian opponent Tamberi ran and hugged Barsim and screamed happily. What we saw here was a great share of love in sports that touch our hearts. They both shared the gold medal. It reveals indescribable sportsmanship and which doesn't is limited to religion, color and border. These things are irrelevant in place of sportsmanship. Okay, just I was telling the story of this current Olympics because the Olympics is going on, so it will be interesting for us. So that is why I am starting this topic with my greatest Olympic prize by J. Sons. In introduction to the author, he himself has written this topic. James Cleland J. Sons, 1913-1980, was an American track and field athlete who specialized in sprints and long jump. He participated in 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin, Germany, where he achieved international fame by winning 4 gold medals. One is the 100 meters, 200 meters long jump, and as member of the 4 into 100 meter relay race team. In terms 4, he had got 4 gold medals. Now let us start. I am showing you the picture of the J. Sons. Then this unit 1, I will read the warm-up. Preface. Introduction. The Olympic Game is the world's foremost sports competition featuring summer and winter sports in which athletes from all over the world participate in a variety of competitions. In this essay, J. Sons shares his experience of 1936 Summer Olympics held in Berlin when patriotic feelings were running high in Germany. However, once did not bother, as he trusted in his abilities. He tells his turning story about the forging a lasting friendship with a great German, putting difference aside for the love of the games. Now you will read the following unit of the text. You just listen carefully, then you can answer the questions clearly. It was the summer of 1936. The Olympic Games were being held in Berlin. Because Adolf Hitler childishly insisted that his performance were member of a master race, nationalistic feelings were at an all-time high. Who was Adolf Hitler? You all know this. There is a picture of him. Hitler, famous Adolf Hitler, a decorated veteran of the World War I, was the Chancellor of Germany from 1933 to 1945 and dictator of Nazi Germany from 1934 to 1945. Hitler is commonly associated with the rise of fascism in Europe, World War II, and the Holocaust. He was a very strict and rude man. He was defamed for his rudeness. He was born in 1889 and died in 1945. Now we read the text. The author writes, I wasn't too worried about all this. I had trained, suited and disciplined myself for 6 years with the games in mind. I had already prepared. Now also the Olympics game sportsmen, women, they also prepare from a long time for 4 years, 6 years. While I was going over on the boat, all I could think about was taking home on 1 or 2 of these gold medals. He was thinking of getting 1 or 2 gold medals. And my eyes especially on the long jump. On the long jump, he wanted to get a gold medal. A year before, as a university student, I had set the world record of 26 feet 1 by 4 inches. Everyone kind of expected me to win that Olympic event hands down. So he was expecting the gold medal. I was in for a surprise, but there was a surprise for him. When the time came for the long jump trials, I was startled to see a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice sleeves. A tall boy on the long jump crossed 26 feet on practice only. He turned out to be a German named Lars Lang. I was told that Hitler had kept him under wraps, evidently hoping he would win the jump. Hitler had kept him secretly to win the long jump. I supposed that if Lang won, it would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. Nazis will be superior than mindset. After all, I am a Negro. This author was a Negro, a little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways. I determined to go out there and really show their father and his master race who was superior and who was not. He was determined to get the gold medal and show them who was he. Then, anger is the worst enemy of an athlete. Anger is telling. Read the following unit of the text and find out how one suffered for his anger and who bailed him out. How he overcome anger. Anger is the very great enemy. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes, as any coach will tell you. I was no exception. I was also angry. On the first of my 3 qualifying jumps, I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a no jump. On the second jump, I was even worse. Did I come 3,000 miles for this? I thought bitterly, to fail in the trials and make a fool of myself. He was thinking he had come from 3,000 miles to fail in the trials itself. Walking a few yards from the pit, I kicked disgustedly at the ground. Being angry, he kicked the ground. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to look into the friendly blue eyes of the tall German long jumper. The German long jumper was putting hands on his shoulder. He had easily qualified for the finals on his first attempt. He offered me a firm handshake. He made a handshake. Jay Sones, I am Lodge Long. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German twist to it. He was the person. Lodge Long. Glad to meet you, I said. Then, trying to hide my nervousness, I added, How are you? How are you? I am fine. The question is, how are you? What do you mean? I asked. Something must be eating you, he said, proud, the way of foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slang. The foreigners feel proud when they learn little bit English, just like you want. If you learn little bit English, then you feel proud, so that you can overcome everyone. You can speak English with foreigners like that. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. He told that you should qualify with your eyes. Believe me, I know it, I told him, and it felt good to say that to someone. For the next few minutes we walked together. I did not tell Long what was eating me, but he seemed to understand my anger, and he took pains to reassure me. I was very angry, so he tried to console me, cool my anger. Although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in the Aryan supremacy business any more than I did. Although he was taught in Nazi school, but he did not believe in this. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part. Though an inch taller than I, he had a lean, muscular frame. He was 1 inch taller than him. Clear blue eyes, fair hair, and a strikingly handsome face. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat, he pointed to take off board. Then he pointed me. When you are angry, you should count 1 to 10. You should not do anything when angry. He advised. Look, he said, why don't you draw a line a few inches at the back of the board and aim at making your takeoff from there. You will be sure not to fall, and you certainly ought to jump far enough to qualify. He told that you should run from long. You might have seen cricketers starting a run from long back like that. The more distance you run, you can jump. What does it matter if you are not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts. So it doesn't mean it was trials, so on the next day it will be counted. Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out of my body as the truth of what he said hit me. I realized what he told. I was free from tension. Confidently I drew a line full foot behind the board and proceeded to jump from there. I qualified with almost a foot to spare. Then he was qualified in the trial. Then what happened next? Do you believe in the adage, a friend in need is a friend needed? It is a proverb. Very good. A friend in need is a friend indeed. When you have need, all the friends go away, leave away. But who will help you? That is a true friend when you have need. Then we will read it. That night I walked over to Lodge Long's room in the Olympic Village to thank him. Olympic sportsmen were kept in a village, so he went to his room. I knew that if it hadn't been for him, I probably would not be jumping in the finals the following day. Only for him, I was calmed and I qualified in the trials. We sat in his waters and talked for 2 hours about track and field, ourselves, the world situation, and dozen of other things. They talked like a friends. When I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship had been formed. Lodge would go out to the field the next day trying to beat me if he could, but knew that he wanted me to do my best, even if that meant my winning. He was also trying to win the gold medal, but he was expecting him to do best. As it turned out, Lodge broke his own past record. In doing so, he pushed me on to a peak performance. Lodge also broke his own past record. I remember that at the instant I landed for my final jump, the one which set the Olympic record of 26 feet 5.14 inches. He was at my side, congratulating me. Despite the fact that Hitler glared at us from the stands, not a 100 yards away. Hitler was there. He was looking angrily. Lou shook my hand, and it wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart, sort of grip either. He was very happy, congratulated from his heart. Yes, you could melt down all the gold medals and cups I have, and they would not be a plating on the 24-carat friendship I felt for Lodge Long at that moment. He had a very good friendship, 24-carat friendship, no false friendship, pretending. I realized then too that Lodge was the epitome of what Percy Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic Games, must have had in mind when he said, "The important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. The essential thing in life is not conquering but fighting well." That is the main thing. Your life is not winning but fighting well. You should fight well. That is the best part of your life. Always think that is sportsmanship that you should learn in life. You should try give your 100%, not scoring 100 marks, not scoring first division. But if you learn happily, it will help in whole life. When competition examination come, you will do well, you will be happy. This much for today. In the next time, we will discuss the question answers. If you like the video, please subscribe it, push the subscribe button, and share it, like it, share it with your friends, and give your comments if you want to do something else. Thank you.